How are you, man?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dealer Live. I'm your host, Sam Dark, and joining me today is the car dealership guy, Yossi. What's up, Yossi?
What is up, Sam? Already tripping on your words. You haven't even started the show.
I know. That's crazy. Well, we got quite a show lined up for us today. As a reminder to our audience, we're live across all of our CDG social media platforms. Join the convo today. You're going to want to get in on this. Comment to any of the social media platforms. We'll pull those comments up in today's show. It'll change the scope of the show. And Yossi, about today's show, check out what we've got coming up. Grant Cardone is the biggest name in automotive training, the biggest name in real estate, and now he's playing in politics. Grant Cardone today joins the show. But before we join Grant, let's hit our automotive headlines today. So breaking news today on the M&A front, Kia is heating up, fueling multiple buy sells this month. For example, Trust Auto Group acquired Palmdale Kia in Southern California from the Nori Shaver Automotive Group, while Don Franklin Auto Group picked up Kia of Bowling Green in Kentucky from Martin Management. These sales reflect Kia's remarkable rise in dealer circles. In fact, according to CDG's Q2 Dealer Outlook survey, Kia now ranks as the fourth most sought-after franchise for buyers, outranking even luxury brands like Porsche and Benz. Bottom line here, for a brand that once carried a bargain basement reputation, dealers now see Kia as a volume mover with strong margins and product that fit today's affordability-driven market. Kia is hot, Yossi.
And the product is great. And they keep winning. So it's not surprising.
Yeah. Turning to politics before we go to Grant and tariffs, Japanese Prime Minister Ishibe is heading to the G7 summit with one clear mission. He wants to convince President Trump to roll back auto tariffs that could cost Japanese automakers, he says, over $19 billion this year. The two leaders are expected to meet privately during the summit in Alberta, Canada. Their second face-to-face. Ishibe plans to press Trump to reconsider both the 25% tariff on Japanese vehicles and the broader 24% reciprocal levy Trump continues to push. For Japan, the impact is massive. Toyota, Honda, Mazda, and even Subaru are already feeling the strain. April export data shows a dip in dollar value despite an increase in volume, suggesting Japanese automakers are eating the cost just to stay competitive in the United States. But this isn't just about trade. He's also facing high-stakes elections next month after a rough political setback in November. If he returns without anything in hand, it could look weak and put his entire admin at risk. So interesting, the gamesmanship that continues north of our borders on behalf of the Japanese with
tariffs
Trump.
aren't going anywhere, so get used to it. We'll see what Grant has to say on that, but they're not going anywhere, so get used to retailing with tariffs. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that coming up. And then finally this afternoon, used car sales held steady in May at 1.53 million units. Inventory is tightening fast. Days supply fell to 43, the lowest for this time of year since 2021, according to Cox Automotive. Month-over-month sales were flat, but 4% compared to last year. Inventory dipped slightly to 2.2 million units, and average listing prices came down a bit to $25,470. That's about 1% lower than a year ago. Certified pre-owned sales were mostly unchanged in May, but still running 2.4% ahead of last year, showing steady demand even as overall affordability remains a challenge. The real squeeze is in the lower price tiers. Vehicles under $15K, if there are many, there's not a lot of those left, have just 31 days of supply, well below this segment average, making it harder for budget-conscious buyers to find options. Looking ahead, Cox warns that June's numbers may show sharp year-over-year swings due to the anniversary of the CDK global cyber attack in 2024. Let's not talk about that. Any big shifts, analysts say, may be more about data noise than real market change. And that's a wrap on today's daily news.
All right.
All right, Yossi, let's go to our first up guest today, the president and CEO of Cardone Capital with $5 billion under management, CEO of Grant Cardone Enterprises, and founder CEO Grant Cardone Sales Training, the man, the myth, the legend, Grant Cardone. Welcome, Grant.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
We appreciate having you, man.
It's a great intro, man. You guys are showing graphs and breaking news, and I feel like I'm watching, like the next big hit in
The game has changed, my friend. The
Say
game
it,
has
CNBC.
changed.
Say CNBC. That'll make Yossi happy.
CNBC.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
by the way, guys, I looked at your list of questions. They're pretty boring, dude.
Well,
all right.
you know what the funny thing is? They're not even the questions. It's the topics that we have pre-made before the show. But that's good feedback for the process because we shouldn't send those out. So we'll work on that nonetheless. So Sam, you want to give them the real questions?
First up to the boring questions, Grant, and you correct the question if it needs to be something different. So Grant, you went from automotive training, and by the way, here at Ziegler, we train with you every single day.
Love,
and we
love
have
you guys. One of the best automotive groups that I've ever worked with or had an experience with.
Thank you.
Aaron and the team there, you guys are phenomenal. And what you've done in automotive is it's the proof of discipline, commitment, resilience, and staying on the basics over and over. Like you guys have done an amazing job there.
And of those 50 years, you've been there as a trainer alongside us every single day, a big part of it. So you're a training guru.
Well, maybe not the whole 50 years.
But a big part of it, right? How many ever that is. Yeah. You're a real estate titan. And now you're sitting in the room with and having influence with people like the President of the United States. Grant, tell us about your journey for our audience here.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I'm just a regular person. You know, I grew up in the bayous of Louisiana, and I was raised by a single mom. My dad died when I was 10 years old, and that made me really hungry because my dad was the leader in the family. He was the breadwinner. He controlled the money. He drove the car. You know, this is 1968, you know, when things were different than they are today. But, you know, the lines of responsibility were very clear back then. And when my dad died, my mom was lost in, you know, she had to discover what she didn't know and didn't understand. She didn't know how to get money. She didn't know how to communicate with, you know, a population of people. She didn't know how to, definitely didn't know how to sell, negotiate, broker a deal, make investments. She trusted no one because she knew nothing. Like your trust goes down as your knowingness and confidence with information dissipates and goes down. So does your, so does your ability to move. And she just didn't know anything. She was a great mother, by the way, 5 children. She knew how to feed me and take care of me. But she didn't know the rest of the game. And so that compelled me to figure out this part of the game was the money game, how to get it. How do I keep it? What do I do with it? And, you know, look, I'm a very hungry individual. I'm never satisfied. I know with 1,000% confidence that no one has enough. I don't care what you think you have. You are short on what life can do to you because I lost my dad. My dad was firmly in the middle class. He died. He was out of a paycheck 4 days later. So was the family. They cashed in the life insurance that was useless now. The stocks that my mom had, she didn't know which ones were worth anything. The house that we owned did not produce income. It was a liability. Immediately went from an asset to a liability. So I operate with tremendous amounts of skepticism about the market, about the conditions of the market, and know that in any given day, because of my personal experience in life and the experience I've seen other people have, bro, everything can be taken away from you in a second. Some of you that were in automotive back in 2008, I watched 50% of my friends lose their business in 25 hours. It was literally 1 day and 1 hour. 9,000 car dealers went out of business. And at that time, just to finish the story, I was 99%, probably 100% dedicated to my only line of business was auto dealers. And half of that business went away. The other half, by the way, we're not buying training, except for Ziegler. I think everybody quit paying us. And Aaron,
we were there.
Aaron probably dripped me. He probably
He probably did.
You know,
but you got us through it, man.
Yeah, so, but so anyway, like, you know, I am.
So you diversified then.
I diversified. It's not diversified. I basically opened up the number of people I was communicating with. Yeah. So you know, and that's what that was only 12 years ago. And my business has grown by 1,000x, not 10x.
So you're in real estate now. You're in automotive. Go ahead, Yossi.
No, say when you say you're my business, Grant, are you referring to sales training or the enterprise, which includes other businesses?
The enterprise. The enterprise. Like I had something, and this is for everybody that's listening. You might have a piece of inventory that everybody wants. If that's all you sell, you will be broke. So it doesn't matter how hot your thing is today. If you depend on one flow of income for anything, love, unless it's a spouse, you're going to lose that thing, including a spouse, by the way. I have 2 children. Sooner or later, I depend on that flow from them for Father's Day. 2 kids, but sooner or later, they're going to move out. And if all I do is get love and admiration from them one time a year, the point is you need more flows. You need more flows so that you're less dependent upon one flow. And I'm not suggesting that people go get a second job, but what I am suggesting is you have to learn how to sell all the inventory. If you're new cars, you got to learn how to sell used cars. Used cars, you need to know how to sell new cars. And then once you play the entire inventory line, if you're a car dealer, how do you start growing other franchises? Because your franchise is going to break. It's just when it's going to break. They all break. And so what I've done is I've figured out how to, you have to be committed, number one. None of this, what I'm talking about, means anything to anyone unless you're committed to more.
Yeah.
If you're committed to being satisfied, dude, don't even listen to me. I'm going to make you sick. I sound like a screeching siren in your head. Today I went from consulting car dealers making a couple $1 million a year, which was amazing, to this year we'll probably do $1 billion in sales across 7 or 8 different verticals.
So the lesson for auto dealers in your world is you began on the one, you expanded the number of streams coming in. Your lesson for auto dealers is diversify in OEMs, diversify in different revenue or income streams before we go to politics.
Well, I would tell you guys, you need to get too big. You need to get so big that the system depends on you as much as you depend on the system. And small guys will hit a knee. If you're small and stay small, you will take a knee at some point. And tariffs, I wouldn't worry about the tariffs. First of all, there's not going to be any tariffs. Okay, just so you guys know.
Ooh, spicy.
You and Aaron share the same opinion. It's a negotiation tactic. So
come on, it's like, come on. You guys can't see the tariffs are like the inflatable gorillas on a weekend sale.
They don't work anymore, by the way. Those gorillas don't. You got to get the bigger gorilla, and it has to have helium in it now. So
yeah, whatever. You get the point, though. But the tariffs, they're going to put some pressure right now. But you guys should have tariff insurance. You should have tariff deals. The tariffs are a reason for you to get traffic. Yeah. Like whatever the media, whatever the news is, okay, you need to lean into the news. Like I'm a promotion, I'm going to say it. I am a promotion genius. I understand how to use.
You even got the buzz.
Dude, I know how to use any and everything as promotion. I don't care what. Dude, I'll tell you guys a story. Nobody knows this. Okay. How much time do we have, by the way? Because I don't want you guys
bring
to
it.
Go for it.
Let's go. Time. Bring it.
So this isn't CNBC, right? Because they have commercials.
Yeah, we're not doing
no commercials. No interruptions. No interruptions.
On April the 1st, I don't know if I can show this to you guys because I always show, like right out of my book, Sell or Be Sold. When you tell somebody something out of this book, if you're a salesman, every time you tell somebody something, you show it to them because people don't trust themselves. It's not that they don't trust the salesman. The trust started with a lack of trust in myself. That's why I don't trust other people. Okay. The spouse is worried about you cheating on. Are you cheating on me? She's cheating on you, bro. Don't kid yourself. Okay. That's why she's worried about it. She either cheating on you or she cheated on somebody at some point. And so trust always comes from inside. Now, let's see what I'm looking for here. Oh, my daughter changed my thing here. So on April the 1st, I posted that I was selling my plane.
I saw that, by the way. Everybody freaked out, right? It was genius. Not knowing April 1st.
It's like, how do you get this many people this easily?
Yeah.
Okay. So I post it. I get 3 offers for my plane. Okay. 3 of them were over market, and Merck's going to pay $9 million more than they should be paying for it. It's in the shop right now. They're buying it. So I was going to try to show it to you, but I can't. I don't want to waste y'all's time. But my point is, okay, everything is a promotion. Everything, it starts with marketing. Everything starts with marketing. I did not know this when I was 35 years old. I thought everything started and ended with sales, but everything actually starts and ends with marketing. The marketing, like my job today at all our companies is to promote the company, promote, and promote. And then build a sales funnel so that people can actually come in and not just be promoted to do something. Okay. 10X Health. Okay. It's a water bottle. It's a $300 water bottle. It's like, why would anybody do that? They do it because I did it. I paid $300 for the bottle. Okay.
Yeah.
It hydrogenates water. It converts it into tiny molecules that can penetrate every organ in your body and basically solve all your gut problems. Okay, I wouldn't pay $300 for it. I'd pay $30,000 for it. In fact, you will have to pay $30,000 for it if you end up with colon cancer. See,
Grant is the ever promotionist. I love it. Love
100%, dude. By the way, I have no shame about it.
So watch though. I want to hear. I'm buying the bottle. I'll give you my credit card number. You send it over to me. I want it. Whatever it is, I'll buy it. But a question for you, Grant. Not to interrupt you or change the flow.
Yeah.
I'm super curious, and I think our auto dealer audience is super curious about the politics that are going on today. This past weekend, when you talk about unrest and excitement, you hear about all the protests. There's tariffs on people's minds, north of the border, south of the border. You've stayed out of politics until this past year, and then you've gone all in.
You guys should be having illegal immigrant deportation sales.
Oh gosh, can you?
He's not kidding.
I
know he's not kidding.
I am not kidding. I would be, if I'm in LA, I'm all on it. Okay. You guys in LA, number one, look, I love California. I lived there 25 years and the fires, you might know, burnt down 18 homes adjacent to me and 80 on the other side of me. And I'm in the middle left standing. And somebody's like, man, you must be living right. I said, bro, my house is made of concrete. It's got nothing to do with how I live. A fucking concrete don't burn. Okay. Glass, steel, and concrete doesn't burn. Okay. Timber that's been sitting in the sun for 75 years. When you put a match to it, it catches on fire. And if all your neighbors are made of the same thing. So you guys in Southern California, you need to get rid of the extreme politics. You don't need to get rid of Democrats. Democrats are not the problem. There's three classes in California. There's Democrats. There's the extremists, and then there's the Republicans that hide. These guys hide in the shadows, okay? The Democrats are just along for the ride. The problem in California is the extremists, okay?
Yeah.
And y'all need to just get rid of extreme and quit talking about Democrats or Republicans. Second thing I would tell you to do is you got to get rid of all these environmental groups that keep saying that there's going to be an environmental issue. Guess what? They actually created an environmental issue called the fires of January 7th or January 8th, whatever the day was, because they basically, the Coastal Commission, it's incredible, dude. The Coastal Commission wouldn't allow my neighbors to rebuild their homes out of concrete.
That's crazy.
And now they're going to probably this is a land grab. The January fires are a land grab. Okay, they're going to grab that land. They're even talking about possible eminent control, eminent domain,
which they did in Hawaii.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
They did it in Hawaii.
Yep. 3 years now. I mean, I didn't know you guys were a political show, but 3 years and Hawaii's still freaking.
We are now, Grant. You're taking us there.
I didn't.
Well, I think there's a bigger story here, which I'm curious.
The third thing, before you interrupt me, the third thing I want to suggest to people to do is you should, if you want to really threaten the political system in California, the simple thing to do not recall Gavin Newsom and do not get rid of the mayor. What you need to do is just register red for the next governor election. Okay. If every day 8,000 or 10,000 people would register red, you don't have to vote red. You just register red. Sacramento gets that data every day and it will terrify them. And immediately they will come off this extreme politics and they will see that it's causing them, causing the people of California to act and vote differently or possibly
democracy.
Grant, talk to me a bit. You've been leaning a lot into politics. You went from sales training, bigger enterprise, now politics. obviously you're a smart guy. I'm sure it's been very intentional for you. Aside from the promotion and the exposure, is there any other reason why do it?
It's the right thing to do. I mean, I'm a free person. I'm a privately held company. You know, I mean, I've lost business because of it. I've lost investors.
So
20,000
net. Well, have you gained more business or?
Number one, net. I don't do things because of business first. I do things because they're right first. And if I'm gonna live in a country like America, and not have a free voice because I lost somebody's business. I remember I had this little wristband. It said, "Don't be a little bitch" on it. Okay. Like, it was a fun little band. It was not a sexist band. It was about don't be a whiner. And a car dealer, we gave a bunch of them to a car dealer. And one of the women car dealers that got it was offended by it. I'm like, bro, all you got to do is send them back. Okay. Like, don't be offended. Just send them back and say, I don't want these. Okay. But in your case, because you got so offended back, you actually need to wear it because this is what you're doing. Like, you're crying about nothing, like the things that people cry about. So,
but that's what you want, Grant. You want that reaction. You want that emotional response. That creates buying, right?
Not really, dude. I don't want somebody canceling a contract because of a little wristband. Like, I lost 30 grand a year because of that because she got that. But you know, you guys need to be in a position to lose stuff. Like, I know who she is. I remember her right today. Like, you forget the loss. You almost never forget the losses, right? I didn't want to lose her, but it reminded me, expand your database and expand your front end customer so that you can lose a customer, because you're going to lose a customer. What you don't want to do is lose your voice. You want to be able to keep speaking. So when I spoke for Donald Trump at the Coachella deal, I did a Coachella deal. Some people didn't like it, but he did. My wife didn't like the presentation. She's like, that was too many F-bombs. I'm like, how many was there? She's like, 6. I said, oh, I thought there was only 2. And she's like, that was awful, man. You need to be an example. My wife is just torching me, right? And guess who called? Guess who calls? While she's torching me?
Trump.
Donald J. Trump.
Man,
that was a great job. Would you speak for me at Madison Square Garden? Oh, let me check with my wife, sir. No, I'll do the deal. So, you know,
let me sleep on it.
Yeah, net, bro, net. It's a winner, right? But at the end of the day, there's going to be a cost to everything you do, a cost to everything you don't do. Every call you don't make, there's a cost, and every call you do make, there's a cost.
So, Grant, he has been super aggressive with the tariffs. The tariffs have created uncertainty in automotive. We know in automotive, uncertainty creates opportunity, and those dealers who are ready to seize it, and they end up doing better in it. But it has created uncertainty. As from the moment you endorsed through the political campaign up to today, do you have any new thoughts about what his presidency means and what you would advise? Were you still in that room sitting with him, advising him to repeal the tariffs, put the tariffs in, kill the tariffs, do whatever?
I would say, first of all, I'm a fan of, he's not asking me into his office for my opinion, but I am a fan of tariffs.
Yeah.
I would rather tariffs than more taxes. I hate taxes. I mean, y'all want to talk about the real problem? The IRS is a problem. Mm-hmm. And car dealers all accept it. Okay. Car dealers accept the IRS like it's crazy. Fight the IRS. Let's get rid of the IRS taking 40% of your money and another 13% if you live in California. Okay. Let's get rid of the IRS, go to a flat tax. Why are you worried about a tariff in China or a tariff in Japan or a tariff in India? Why don't you worry about the 40% the IRS takes? Okay. They do nothing for this country. They are not funding Medicare, Social Security. They're not even funding the military. Printing money funds those things.
So Grant Cardone, Emerson Gray says on social, GC for president. J Law also says Cardone 28. Political aspirations from Grant Cardone. You've built an empire. You've been a successful business person. You've diversified. You've been heavily engaged in the number one economic indicator of health in the U.S., automotive. GC politics. Oh, he's got his $300 bottle. I want one, by the way. I'm coming for it.
You got to get it. 10x.
I want one.
10x.
It was on you had it on a NASCAR, and I wanted it when I saw it on the NASCAR.
Let him answer. Let him answer the question.
We took that company, by the way. We bought that company. What did we pay for that? 250 grand or something?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Paid $250,000 for a company. They didn't have any marketing, didn't have any sales, didn't have any operations, didn't have a client log. I took everything that I've learned from automotive, bought that company for 250 grand. It did $15 million in revenue last month. It went from 60 customers to 180,000 recurring customers a month. I don't know anything about healthcare, guys. I know nothing about healthcare, but if you know about marketing and sales and consistency and operations and follow-up, paying attention, and you're committed, you can build anything. So regarding the politics, I mean, look, I looked at the whole governor thing in California. Is like, I'm not a political person. I'm just a passionate American that's like, something's wrong. And I live in Florida. I'm still on the voter rolls in California. You want to see how corrupt that system is? I've been gone 13 years. I left as a Democrat. I'm still on their registration. That's insane. 13 years later. Okay.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So why would I run in Florida? No, because they don't need anything in Florida. Florida's fine. Would I run in California? If I thought that there was a way to get rid of the Coastal Commission, the environmental groups, and the lock that the unions have on the state of California, and if the people of California, the 40, 50, 60 million people that live there, I don't know what the number is. I mean, on any given day, it could swell by 15 million. If I thought I could actually make a difference there and get rid of some of that craziness, I would go do that and put aside my private, profitable life if I thought I could make a difference.
You had a post that posted to Facebook in the past few days. You're on a podcast in your own studio, where I've been, by the way. I love your studio. And you were asked, hey, you know, tell us a bit about Trump. You talked about how lonely it must be for him at moments because he is a leader and he's not getting accolades. He's getting criticism. And you mentioned maybe even his own wife not agreeing with his politics and his approach. But that's leadership. Would you do much? I mean, you're talking about major changes were you to do it. Would you take a similar approach?
Well, I mean, it's just who I am, right? So that's why I relate to him. And like so much of the country has been, admires him because of this transparency, authenticity. Nobody likes the way he says it, including his family. His family's telling me. I said, Donnie Jr., I said, don't y'all ever, of course, Grant, of course we tell him to say it another way. Don't be stupid.
He's his own guy. He's his own guy, right? He's going to do it the way. When
you're operating with conviction and you're operating, you're communicating with a lot of passion and enthusiasm, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 things that I've said already in this that offended somebody.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're offended by it. I'm sorry you're that fragile that I want to give a middle finger to the IRS, and that I don't want them in my life and I don't want to pay them anything. Okay. I think it's my personal business responsibility and my responsibility as a father not to fund wars and not to be hoodwinked about the IRS. The IRS is a criminal operation. And most of you guys will not say that because you scam on your damn IRS. I don't. So like, come hunt. That's the freedom, man. You guys want tremendous amounts of abundance and freedom so you get to say what you want. And good leaders are going to operate with speed. They're going to operate with conviction. They're going to be
decisiveness. Make quick decisions.
And that's what Trump does.
All right, last political thing, and then I promise I'll come away. But I this moment to have you, I'm just so curious about this final thing. Elon Musk is a big guy in automotive, right? Tesla, SpaceX, which I love. His favorability scores have declined since March among self-identified Republican voters since he went south with Trump. Give us your take on that whole thing. And would you be in the same conundrum he is? Were you in that spot? And what's the takeaway for automotive, if any? Grant, give it to us.
Look, Elon, I think the whole thing was a scam. I think they're playing the people, man. Like I think, first of all, there's no better promoters than Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a master promoter. They're both master trolls, by the way. If you guys don't know what a troll is a way to use current narratives and manipulate narratives so people are actually bringing attention off of one thing back onto you. Okay, they're trolls.
Yeah.
These guys. I think Elon and Musk sat down and said, "Look, let's start a little fight. And Trump's
Wow.
like, let's go.
I wondered if that was true, Yossi. I said that. You're like, I don't
did
think
say
so.
that.
I wonder if it's manufactured because,
Well,
it helps Musk get his EV folks back. They start buying
Totally,
EVs and stop burning them. They're burning them right now.
I bought 2 Teslas because people were returning their Teslas to because Elon had started supporting Trump. So I bought 2. People were sending Teslas back because of that. So if he flips the model and says, okay, I'll just hate Trump for a couple of weeks, I'll pick up some sales. They're going to hug it out. I've been saying for a week, watch, a week from now, they're going to be in the White House hugging it out. Weren't they together this weekend?
I don't know. He had his birthday celebration.
Yeah,
so.
no.
He was in
that was,
Mar-a-Lago, or they were together this weekend.
So
you're
someone on
saying
social,
it all
Chris
comes down to
W.
dollars and cents.
It comes down to promotion. It comes down to who controls the narrative. Okay. Car dealers, you don't control the narrative. You're always talking about your blue truck and your lowest price. Okay. Like, do you guys got to do a better job of promoting? What can you promote other than that? There's so many things car dealers can promote. Like if I want a bunch of likes or posts or dude, if I do any sexy car and I comment on a car in any of my social, I'm going to get a lot more hits or views than I would if I was just talking about how to get rich.
Yeah.
Cars sell, and car dealers, no offense, most of you suck at bringing attention from the main media back onto your company. You guys just don't make marketing sexy. It's always about price and benefits.
Is it because it's safe?
Do you know?
And they don't want to cross the line, or is it just they're bad at it? So
I think first of all, I don't think you guys understand organic marketing.
Yeah.
I think you believe you have to pay and it has to be on TV. I told this, I met with 4 different political groups about this California governorship thing. And I said, if you guys think you're going to win this with money or you'll win it with TV, you're wrong. You'll win it on the ground and you'll win it with social media.
Yeah. Trump won it in podcasting, right?
Yeah.
That's where he won his deal.
You will not win it. You will not win it. You California guys, you're not going to win it unless the guy on the ground gets gritty. Like the sheriff Bianca, no offense to Bianca, he's a friend of mine. Steve Hilton, good dude. You guys cannot win anything because you're not willing to rip people's faces off. You have to be willing to rip Kamala. You got to be willing. It's got to be a social moment, dude.
So Grant, take us to automotive and think about the dealers, the OEMs, the manufacturers, where today, June of 2025 is the biggest opportunity. If you were to jump into automotive, you were to convert your real estate empire into automotive, where would you put that money? What bet would you make it on today?
Well, I would make it on my customer base.
Yeah.
Okay. I would make it on my customer base. No way. I would make it on my customer base. I would make
What'd he say?
What'd
he say to your left? He said something.
No, he's telling me that he wanted me to share with you a strategy we're using right now to get a tremendous amount of attention.
Yeah.
I would
share it. Share it.
Who's that?
He's going to share it. He's going to.
Yossi, come on, let's do it.
I would always go when I'm trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to expand, when I'm trying to get a statistic to move up, if it's flat, like you're describing to me, those graphs that you showed me in the red, the green, and the yellow, if I'm trying to move that graph up, I am always going back to my sold customers. Always.
They bought once.
I'm gonna figure out something tricky, something gimmicky, something cool, something nobody else is willing to do. I wrote about it in this book. If you're not first, you're last. Just find out what your competition won't do. Find out what they won't do and do it. I mean, I know what that would be in automotive right now, but the idea is so big, dude.
Come on. Grant, we will just keep it between us and our small audience. That's all we need.
Well,
Give it to us. Come on,
baby. How
baby.
many people are watching this right now? What's
5, 6, something.
Only like tens of thousands.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Good for you guys for having a nice sized audience, that wants to learn. All you got to do is watch what I'm doing right now. You'll see what it is. But I'm always looking for angles, dude. I'm looking for glitches that don't cost me money, by the way. My best advertising and marketing costs nothing. Now, the guy sitting to my left's like, yeah, but we spend $25 million a year on Facebook ads. They suck. The ads suck. The ads suck. Facebook sucks. I hate Facebook. Hate them. Okay.
Yeah. But it's a defensive play. You got to be there, right?
Well, I think the point here is Sam, we've talked a lot about leaning into organic marketing, right?
Yes.
And organic content. And it's literally, the conversations we've had, so it's all about creating your own video. Like, look, the car dealership is a reality show, right? And you film that. That's incredible content. Not everyone has that privilege. And so it's prime example, and it's working. Look at the dealerships who are doing that in the industry today and are getting a ton of exposure and sales. We just had Benz and Bowties here on the other day talk about it. How it's like 50% of his leads come from him just videotaping what he's doing in the dealership, documenting it.
I love
So
it.
Grant, any dealers out there that you are impressed with? You've mentioned a lot that don't do it well, but does anyone come to mind that does do it well?
Not really.
There has to be someone. Come on, give me one.
Not really. I mean, the big guys, we don't even think we do a good job, guys. Okay. I get 160 million views a year, 160 million. We convert 153,000 people last year bought a product from me. 4,000 invested in a real estate project with me. 180,000 of them got on our 10X health system last year. But I still didn't close. Like 99% of the people that see my material do nothing with me. Now, how do I get those? What's that?
I'm sitting here on a show with Grant Cardone, and guess who texts me? Elena Cardone. Final 10X ladies in Miami is almost sold out. It's the last one ever. This, Yossi, is example and proof positive of Grant's overall strategy. We're talking to him, and I'm getting messages from your team to buy stuff. I don't have the message about the bottle yet, but as soon as I get it, I'll click the link. So
10xhealthsystem.com. That's where you get the bottle.
There we go.
But all I'm saying to you, is there anybody doing it well? The problem is the legacy giants, the big guys. They don't need to do this stuff. They just need to do more of what they've been doing. This is what executives say, guys. Just do what we've been doing. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, they're making a lot of money. They're always going to make a lot of money. You're going to be the last one standing. Small doesn't work. Big does. But I mean, if you wanted to rip the cover off the ball, you would come up with something more innovative. If you look at what I'm doing at Cardone Capital, okay, I've raised $1.6 billion without a broker or a middleman. $1.6 billion. That's more than I've ever sold. And I've done that in 6 years, more than I've ever sold in products. We've sold about $1.2 billion of products over the internet. And I don't have inventory like a car dealer does. I don't have floor plans. I mean, it's an unbelievable business. I've helped a lot of people, but the investing part of the business, when people give me money, capital to invest for them, that requires a tremendous amount of trust. And I better have a product that allows them to drop into something where they don't lose their money. January this year, we added a Bitcoin strategy where I buy a piece of real estate. I then add Bitcoin to the purchase. I pay cash for both. I put them together in a partnership, and then I allow people to invest in both. This is going to revolutionize real estate. And we've done 5 deals this year in 5 months. We'll do 12 by August. And I'll take this public next February, March. And it's going to be phenomenal, dude.
And Grant, for everybody wanting to know more, where can they go to?
Yeah, my point about that, I know you're trying to get out. My point about that is you guys need to use new current things to grab attention when attention's moving another way. Sorry to interrupt you.
Where do we go, Grant Cardone, to find out more about that product?
Go to cardonecapital.com.
Cool. Hey, Grant Cardone, you and I have spoken in the past. I've been to your studio. I've seen your setup. You're a big part of the reason why at Ziegler Studios we have a similar setup. Appreciate you being on the show with us, car dealership guy and Yossi today. Thanks for sharing your perspectives on everything and being so transparent about it all.
Oh, yeah.
It was a heck of a lot of fun.
Hey, guys, apologize to anybody if I offended anybody by anything I said. it's just my passion and excitement and enthusiasm for new stuff that I'm doing. I really appreciate all of you out there pulling for you. Anything I can do to help anybody in your audience. And when you're back in South Florida, let's get back in the studio again.
Let's do it. Thanks, Grant. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks.
Grant, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Josh.
So a lot of comments we didn't even get to. Chris in our comments said Elon and Musk. Does he know it's this? Oh, because he actually said it, the same person. But if you're not willing to lose, you're not willing to win. If you're not willing to win, you will lose for sure. And your vendors are listening, says Jessica. So fun, interesting conversation, Yossi.
Yeah, a couple of really strong insights in there as well, which I loved. Just leaning in, right? Leaning into the current thing. And we know many dealers did do this, right? You saw tariff sales out there and stuff like that. I still take the other side of that coin. I still do believe we'll have some just persistent tariffs, not at the current levels that they started out, some, but nonetheless, I think the point stands to lean in, right? Lean into what's out there and see what it can do to convert customers. Dealers that did tariff sales, from my understanding, did very well. And there's always that next thing coming out, right? The second thing you mentioned is just, documenting content, right? We've talked a lot about this. Nomad Content is one of our sponsored, trynomad.co. And it's exactly what dealers have been doing, right? Creating more of that organic content. I said it earlier, like the dealership is a reality TV show. And so I think the point stands, right? Like leverage the algorithms to your advantage, create good content, get customers to come to you. So look, he's a great marketer, obviously a masterful marketer, hence why he's been able to build what he's been able to build. And I think there's a lot of really strong lessons in there.
Creates opportunity in any news cycle. So, Yossi, today's episode of the Daily Deal Live is brought to you by Experian Automotive. Outdated or inaccurate customer information can severely impact your marketing efforts. Grant shared a little bit of that today during his segment. Clean and enrich your first-party data with Experian Automotive to reduce marketing waste and better connect with your customers. Visit carguymedia.com/Experian to learn more.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go up our final guest today. Joining us, Tina Tasche, innovative and technology specialist at Van Horn Automotive. Tina, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Glad to be here.
Tina, thanks for coming back on. You had we did a podcast together, which was exceptional. It was like a BDC masterclass, sort of. That's what I have to call it. I had a bunch of people tell me, we love these like CDG deep dives. We actually thought about doing like a recurring segment called like CDG 101, where we do a deep dive into like, CDG F&I, CDG service, but nonetheless, your CDG BDC episode.
BDC,
super well received. How are you doing? How's biz?
Good. I mean, we've been busy since last time I talked to you. We opened a brand new Kia dealership. We are right now currently building a new Honda dealership that's half built. It's going to be the biggest dealership at Van Horn, like 43,000 square feet. So that's keeping us busy. We rebranded a used car store into Cars for 15K is the new name of it. And all well, we're going to be celebrating our 60th anniversary next year. So a lot of fun things going on.
So tell me a little bit about, you said business is good. Let's start there, right? When you say what's good, where are you seeing inbound activity? Is this kind of consistent across all brands? Are you seeing certain brands outperform others right now? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple brands that always come to mind that work really, really great for us. I mean, Ford with the employee pricing that they just had, that was really great for us. We actually got a CDP this year, was a huge brand new thing to us. And the marketing that we've been able to do with that and Flex with that campaign was great. We've invested a lot in Kia, obviously with a brand new dealership. So that's been a really great one for us as well. But just overall, we're working a lot this year on the theme of people, process, technology, and making sure that we're isolating different topics of things, like, for example, missed calls, something like that, and just kind of looking at all these different angles of how we can continue to improve the customer experience, because all that's going to do is drive what we're talking about here is additional sales and service revenue.
Let's dissect that one by one. So first of all, you mentioned you installed a CDP, a customer data platform at the
Yes.
dealership. Can you just very simply tell us like what has that done to your business, right? Like
Mhm.
tactically, or like are you just sending more specific messages to customers? What has really changed?
Tactically, the biggest change with that would just be the cleansing it's doing of the data. I mean, it can look at making sure we have current addresses for customers, current phone numbers, current email addresses. Do they still even own the car? Because we don't want to market to somebody that doesn't even own the vehicle. They can do recall checks. Really, it's just a better data set that allows us to get more granular with our marketing. So that our stores can have idea X, and maybe that idea or campaign only goes out to 100 people, but it's the right targeted 100 people that need that message. So
Mhm.
overall, yeah, that would be like the biggest change that we've seen through that.
Okay. Now, and can you give us a quick overview? How much volume do you see in like a month in terms of call volume, leads? Can you give us a little a note on your scale so we can kind of contextualize that?
Yeah, so we have 15 rooftops. So our forecast of sales where we want to be is usually in the 1400 mark. We strive to have we have certain KPIs for our set rates, for our shown rates. Everything's trackable. We have a great business development center centralized in Sheboygan, Wisconsin for that. They're knocking it out of the park with last month like 38% set rates, 80% shown rate. So just overall, there's a lot of volume coming through them. They take all the phone ups. The majority of those go through central BDC as well. So we're talking chats, we're talking phone ups, and we're talking internet leads. And that's all working in tandem with the AI as well. So we're still
Mhm.
extremely focused on everything that we're doing to help BDC, AI, dealership, everybody involved to collaborate.
Mhm. From your perspective, so has anything 15 rooftops? I mean, you're seeing significant volume there. Has anything changed with customers' tone, urgency? Has anything changed recently?
I mean, Grant just talked about politics, so I'm not going to go there. But the tariffs was kind of a big thing for everybody when that news started to come out, and now suddenly we're having to create marketing campaigns surrounding these things, and you never know day to day. You make a campaign Friday, you're ready to deploy Monday, and something's changed. So
Mhm.
we kind of had a big focus at Van Horn on just making our customers feel comfortable that we're not raising prices, that we're here for our customers, and that's kind of been our perspective and take on that. And just overall, it's just keeping the customers comfortable. We have a new VIP program running in some of our stores that is really focused granularly on that customer experience. Because if they have a great experience, that word of mouth and everything that's going to present itself from there, and the repeat business, and just keeping that circle of life of buying a car, servicing a car, buying a car, going as long as we can.
Mhm. We didn't even intend to, but this episode sort of turned into like a marketing focused episode, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
great. What's the
Organic.
secret to 80% show rates? Like, is this like a full funnel thing? Is it more of the messaging? How do you achieve 80% show rates?
So it's a lot of training and development with our agents. We spoke last time kind of about we have the different tier levels of our BDC agents, but we're doing when it relates to shown, it's making sure that we're setting like warm appointments, not soft appointments, and we're kind of surrounding that. Maybe it's the AI, maybe it's the BDC agents, but making sure those are solid appointments. And from there, we do a lot with confirming appointments. We have actually a video that gets sent out from our COO to every customer who schedules an appointment. So that video then talks about what to expect, what to bring, and kind of, in theory, everything that's going to happen at that visit. So we do that. And even on the service side, we recently just started, when you schedule a service appointment, we have a video that actually goes out from the president of Van Horn, just doing the same thing, just explaining what to expect when you come into the dealership. So we've been very video centric, as many have in the last 12 months, but we're putting a lot of focus on video and campaigns and just everything that goes with that as well.
Mhm. Are customers asking you for, I mean, have conversations turned payment driven? Have they remained pretty consistent? Has anything changed in terms of the customer requests?
Yeah, I think the customer requests they pretty much are the same basic questions, verifying the vehicle is available, verifying price, verifying what people want and need in order to decide if I'm going to go into the dealership has kind of remained the same. But everything we can do to approach just the customer experience in general behind that, just to make sure that they have, because there's a lot that happens even before they come in the dealership. We're talking shown rate. So the things that we can do and the steps that we can take are all going to increase that shown rate. And once you have somebody in the showroom, we have an excellent sales team to have success in leading that to a sale as well.
Mm-hmm. Tina, where do you think AI, what's the right balance of injecting AI into the BDC process? Right. You've experienced with it. We had previously actually guests on the podcast who are running very large BDCs, 200 plus employees without AI. And I just found it surprising in today's day and age, but they're doing well based on the numbers they mentioned to us. Nonetheless, you have used AI, you are using it. And as we've spoken before, it's doing really great things for you. So where is the right way to kind of inject AI versus where does AI maybe fall short in your opinion?
Yeah. So what we're kind of looking at with our focus on AI with, it's on our internet leads and our chats right now. So our focus is kind of making sure that the AI can handle the more redundant tasks. So the things more like, does it have heated seats? What the colors, interior colors, things like that. We want to make sure that we're arming our AI that it can take care of those customers on what we would consider a level 1 BD agent stance, to then allow our agents to handle like the next tier of more creative, creating more engagement and opportunities. So what we've found to be kind of the sweet spot between the entire mixture is just having it be AI be the leading point, and then humans take over when needed.
How do you actually do that? Like if I'm right now a customer, I go to your website, Van Horn Auto Group, I chat with you, right? Like, are you tracking the bounce rate from customers who are like, I want to talk to a human, I'm out, versus like how seamless is that really?
Yeah, so it works pretty seamlessly. Last month, I'm just looking at my notes, about 3,000 conversations our AI had with customers on leads, and it sent 9,000 text messages. So kind of the volume of what the AI can handle, and just
it's
what
unmatched.
It can. Yeah, and what it can do for you when you're closed is the big thing that I echo to people who are kind of hesitant on AI. Because we've seen so much business opportunity generated from when we close. So let's say we close Saturday at 2:30, our BDC leaves. Those leads otherwise aren't answered until Monday morning at 8 a.m. But instead, our leads are nurtured. And by the time that we get in on Monday morning, we're able to have these conversations so much further and potentially have test drives, people coming in right away that morning.
Wow.
Tina, do you sort of see that there's a conversation, I think, in automotive that's going on right now, which is, get rid of the BDCs or lean into BDCs, right? Get rid of BDCs, implement some AI, teach salespeople to perform that function because that's what salespeople get paid to do anyway, or lean into BDCs, use a little bit of AI, however. Have you had that conversation, which way to go? And obviously you've gone all in with BDCs. What supports that? Why do you do that?
Sam, Tina, before you answer that question, Sam, when you say get rid of the BDCs, or do you mean let AI handle it, or do you mean give it to the salespeople?
Give it to the salespeople. Yeah, have salespeople more responsible for that initial point of contact, maybe supported by AI, to Tina's point, for after-hour contact and whatnot, but creating that great experience through salespeople direct.
Yes, you kind of go through this journey when you're starting out with making decisions on what you want to do with AI. And you have to kind of develop a culture behind that within your BDC. And that takes time. And what I mean by that is making sure that they're not feeling like that AI agent is their adversary, but that is their coworker. So we've come a long way to kind of make ties overall with that. But yeah, it's just overall, I can't, speak highly enough on my BDC staff. Like, we need those humans yet. And some things that we're doing that are kind of interesting pivots is, so maybe you're a level 2 BDC agent, but we're developing more specialty roles. So maybe your specialty role is because you have more time capacity. Now you're helping with developing and building training modules and giving trainings. Another pivot for some of our BDC agents has been account management. So they're creating the accounts for new hires. They're putting together like the new hire documentation, making sure everything is ready for their first day, which helps with the overall onboarding experience with our employees. We just started a credit solutions department, we're calling it. So one of our BDC agents has pivoted into that as a specialized role of helping challenge credit customers. And we have more ideas of more and more things that we think we're going to be able to do and generate more opportunity. At the end of the day, our stance, again, is we need our people. Our people, you know, we're an employer-owned organization. So our staff loves, you know, coming in every day.
And it sounds like that BDC gives you some additional capacity to
100%.
engage in different strategies that allow you to be flexible and nimble. And well, Tina Tasche, it's awesome to have you on the show today. Tina Tasche, Innovation and Technology Specialist at Van Horn Automotive Group. Appreciate you coming on the show to share your perspectives on all things BDC.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Tina, thanks for joining again. Great to see you.
Yep, great to see you again.
And Yossi, that was a heck of a lot of fun.
She's a real executive. She's a real like, I really dig her. You know, her just BDC style. She knows what she's doing. I like it.
Yep. Well, hey, great show today. Thanks for watching the Daily Dealer Live, where we break down the biggest news and moves in the car business as they happen. Don't forget, we're live here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So if it's your world, hit like, subscribe, turn on those notifications to never miss a beat. And we'll see you next episode Wednesday.
Thank you, Sam.